Okay, we are now moving on to our third inning. Now, since the number 9 batter made the last out, we are going back to the top of the order, and we are starting under the third inning right here. So let's start off again with some common notations that you're going to find. Let's say there's a ground ball to the first baseman. The first baseman picked it up and stepped on the bag himself. Number 3 is the first baseman, and you put a U afterwards, which means unassisted. So 3 unassisted, 3U. Okay, he made the first out. You come over, you put a 1 right there. Okay, common thing. Sometimes you'll get a second baseman that'll get a force out at second, and he'll pick up the ball and just step on second. That would be a 4U. Okay, so let's go to our next batter. Okay, now again, something is starting to get a little bit more detailed here. But let's say that this batter comes up and they have what's called catcher's interference. He takes a swing, he hits the catcher's glove, okay, and he is awarded first base for that. Okay, that's catcher's interference. So you're going to give him the line, okay, over to first base, but you're going to put either CI for catcher's interference, or you could put E2. Okay, E2 is an error on the catcher. Okay, so he's awarded first base right there. Now he's sitting on first base. So our next batter comes up. Now this batter right here, what he's going to do is he's going to hit in what we call a fielder's choice. He's going to hit a ground ball to the third baseman. Third baseman's going to throw it over to second, forcing this guy out. So he's going to get on base, but it's going to be with a fielder's choice, FC. Okay, again, if there's no notation up here, you write down the notation how he got to first base. But this batter up here, he was thrown out. Okay, I usually put a little stopper symbol there to show that he did not reach the base. He was thrown out 5-4. Third baseman threw it to the second baseman covering. Maybe they tried to turn 2 and they couldn't quite do it. So right now we have a runner on first base. We have to put another out right here, okay, since he was the second out. So we have a runner on first right now with 2 outs. Now our number 4 batter comes up. Again, just something to know. Let's say that we are playing on a large diamond, the 90-foot diamond, and the pitcher balks. If the pitcher balks, okay, this guy is awarded second base. And again, this is where you might have to, you can either put a BK or you can just write in balk. Okay, either way that you like to do it, just make sure you understand how the guy got to second base. Okay, we continue with this guy's at bat. Now let's say that he does something that everyone likes to fill in on a scorebook, unless you're a pitcher, I guess. But let's say that he hits the home run. Okay, you circle the HR. This one's easy to fill in. You just go all the way around the bases, fill it all in, color it in. Okay, all right. You have to go back up to this guy who was on base. You have to move him all the way around. Again, you try to put how he scored. Put HR along from third base to home. You fill that in. And then you go back and you just make sure you have a couple things. If you want to know where he hit it, let's say he pulled it, okay? Pulled it for a home run. He also gets 2 RBIs. He gets the guy above him plus his own, so he gets 2 RBIs right there. So again, just trying to catch up, trying to make sure you understand how people are getting around the bases, who has RBIs. Okay, so we have 2 outs, nobody on. Let's go down to this batter down here. Now let's give this guy a single. Okay, let's give this guy a single right here. So he's going to work his way. We circle that, give him first base. So we have a guy on first base right now with 2 outs. And let's say that he tried to steal. Okay, now we already had somebody get a stolen base earlier, but if you're caught stealing, okay, again you make that little symbol. The catcher is the number 2. Let's say that the shortstop was covering. That's a 2-6. Okay, and then I usually put a CS for caught stealing. Again, for stats later on, maybe you want to know who's been stealing, how many times they've been caught. Since he is the third out, you take a 3 right there, and again, make sure you draw that line underneath. You block off the next batter that's underneath, and then you're going to be able to start with the batter beside that afterwards. Okay, so let's move on to our 4th and final inning. Okay, for today, we're going to go to our 4th and final inning right here. We're just going to cover about 4 innings of notation. So let's take a look at the full scorecard here. We're going to be starting with our number 6 batter right here because the number 5 batter made the last out. So we're starting here. We'll start covering some of the other things that are going to be very common. Okay, let's get some guys on base first of all. Okay, we're going to have our first guy walk right here. Okay, so again we're going to move him over to first base. Okay, fairly simple. We're going to have our next guy, okay? Let's just have him get a single, okay? This guy gets a single right here. Now, nobody's going to move any further than just one base. So this guy goes one base, this guy goes one base. We put a 1B here, okay, showing that he got to second base on the single right there, okay? Now, let's say that the next thing that happens is our number 8 batter hits a ground ball to the second baseman, but it's an error, okay? So he's going to reach, okay? You're going to put an E4, okay, for second base. Move everybody up one base, okay? Everybody only went one base, so we have an E4, E4, okay? So that's what it looks like when you have bases loaded, okay? You have a guy in third, second, first right there, okay? So you have your bases loaded set up in that position right there. Now, next thing that we're going to have happen here, okay? Something called a wild pitch, okay? When you have a wild pitch, guys move up around the bases a little bit, okay? So when we have a wild pitch, everybody's going to move up one, okay? We put our WP right here, okay? We fill that in because he scored on that, okay? We have a wild pitch right here, okay? And a wild pitch right there, okay? So again, just another notation. If it's a pass ball, you put PB. Okay, wild pitch is when the pitcher throws something too wild that the catcher can't handle it. A pass ball is something that the catcher should have caught, okay, but did not. Okay. Now, so what we have now is we have second and third. Okay, second and third here. Let's see, what are we going to do for our next batter? Okay, you know what? I'm going to set up bases loaded again. Okay, bases loaded again. Pitcher's having a rough inning right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move this guy to first base, okay? So we have our bases loaded set up once again. Alright, we are back to the top up here. What we're going to do here, let's see. Let's have a fielder's choice here, okay? We're going to have a ground ball, okay, to, let's say, shortstop. Okay, so we're going to have a fielder's choice, and we're going to put an FC. Now, it was a ground ball to the shortstop. Let's say they tried to turn two, but it did not happen. Okay? It did not quite happen. So he's going to get to first on the fielder's choice. This batter down here, he is out 6-4. Shortstop threw it to the second baseman, but they were not able to turn the double play. But he is our first out of the inning, so we put a 1 there. This guy advances to third base. Okay? He advances on the 6-4. Okay, and this run scores. Okay, so we have another run in this inning. Okay, another run, we fill it in. He scores on a 6-4. Okay, or fielder's choice. If you want to put fielder's choice in these spots, you can do that also. Okay, you're just trying to show how the guy moved around a little bit. Okay, now, so what we have now is we have what's called a classic first and third situation. We got our runner on first, and we have our runner on third down here right now. Okay, we're going to do something that's called a sacrifice. Okay, our number 2 batter is going to come up here, and he's going to sacrifice. He's going to put down a bunt that the pitcher is going to pick up, and he's going to throw it to the first baseman. Okay, so how we're going to work this out is this. Okay, we write down 1 to 3. Okay, he is an out. He is our second out of the inning. Okay. But usually what you're going to do is you're going to write down sacrifice, or SAC. Okay, that tells you that this guy bunted around. Doesn't count as an official bat in the book, but he moved the runners around. So this runner scored on the sacrifice, SAC. Fill it in. Third run of the inning. Okay, this runner moved up to second base on the sacrifice, SAC. Okay, this guy does get an RBI for that. Okay, he gets an RBI right there. You don't get RBIs on wild pitches. You don't get RBIs on errors. Okay, but you do get them on sacrifices. So I think we're caught up right here. We have another run scored. We have a runner on second now with 2 outs. Okay, runner on second with 2 outs. I'm going to have the next batter, okay, get hit by a pitch because I don't think we've done that yet. Now we don't have HB up here, so again we're going to move this guy and we're going to say it's an HB, hit by pitch, okay, or hit batter. Okay, so now we have guys on second, first and second with 2 outs. Okay, so let's get to our final out here. Let's say that we have, okay, we're actually going to have a play hit to the outfield. where our runner is going to try to score, but he's going to get thrown out at home. So let's say it was hit to center field, okay? Ball was hit to center field. They threw it to the second baseman, who threw it to home plate to get the guy coming home. So since this was a base hit, he's actually going to be given a base hit. You can show him going to first, but what happened was this guy tried coming around and was thrown out at home plate, and he was thrown out. Since the ball was hit to the center fielder, he was thrown out 8, threw it to the second baseman, who was a 4, and he threw it to home plate, which is the catcher, which is a 2. Okay? And now, just so you know, he's the third out. He is actually above the guy who got the second out, but since he was the third out, okay, that's how you would write it in. You could put this guy got the second if you want, but for the most part, he never really reached there because this guy was thrown out. This guy gets credit for a hit, okay, but he is the last out, or the last batter that batted in the inning. You put the line underneath, and again, this is a good reason to block it off, because if you look at it, that could be very confusing. You might not quite start in the right spot. Since everybody batted in the order except for one, you want to make sure that you start off with the next guy in the 5th inning. And here's just one more little tip we're going to show right here. Let's say that coming up in the 5th inning, we wanted to put in a substitute batter. Okay? For Kennedy here, we want to put in Gregory. So what we do is we write in Gregory. Now, we write in the inning that he came in, which is the 5th inning. Okay? So usually what you'll do is you write a 5 with parentheses around it. It shows which inning this batter came in as a substitute for Kennedy. So he'd be coming in the 5th inning. What you do is say that he was also going to play third base. You put in a 5 right there. You put in his number. Let's say his number was 16. Okay? So that's how you show substitutes coming in also. Okay. That's keeping a scorebook right there. It's 4 full innings, covered most of the basic notation that you're going to find in a game. Sometimes it does get confusing. Just try to take your time. Make sure that you have all the symbols in the correct places. Therefore, when you go back later, you'll be able to understand the game. You'll be able to follow it pitch to pitch, okay, or batter to batter. And make sure that you practice this. Make sure you give it some time before it becomes natural. But, watch games on TV, keep score at home, go to your games, ask the coach if you can keep score there. But it's a great way to learn the game also. You start seeing situations a little bit differently, and you start understanding the game a little bit differently. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Please check back soon for more. Thanks.